In the last episode of the Southampton Career Mode, we introduced our squad and the club philosophy that is known as the Southampton Way. We were greeted to a promising youth academy, including our homegrown player, Dexter Newton. We made our first signing of the Career Mode in the form of Nahitan Nandes. There were lots of goals scored and conceded, but nothing was better than us starting our Premier League campaign with a 90th minute winner. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Flick here. Welcome back to another episode of our FIFA 21 Southampton Career Mode. This is episode number 2, and today we'll be looking to finish up the second half of Season 1 as we begin the January transfer window. Looking through my YouTube analytics, I noticed a lot of you recently joined the channel because of this Southampton Career Mode, so welcome. Whether you're new to the channel or whether you've been watching the videos for a while, we're all part of this journey with Southampton, and I'm glad to have you on board. Let's see if we can cumulatively continue to support this series. 100 likes is going to be our like target for this episode as we look to push on with 2 episodes a week. If you enjoy the series and want to see more of it, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Kicking off our press conference, I noticed that our youth academy was a major emphasis for a lot of you in the comments section, and it is for me too in this series. We have a lot of talented youth prospects at Southampton, and of course the game has gifted us with a lot of promising players in its own right. It'll be interesting to see which of these players break their way into the starting 11. Out of the ones that we've found so far, I think Dexter Newton is leading the way because he is our homegrown player, and he probably has the highest ceiling for growth. But you never know, some of Southampton's existing youth academy players might surprise me. Tella has been impressive in the few minutes he's featured for me, and Hesketh goes all the way back to my FIFA 17 Southampton save, so I definitely want to incorporate him. As far as bigger clubs coming in for our players, I know it is inevitable, but for players that recently signed a new contract like James Ward-Prowse in the summer, I don't want them departing the club right away. If and when some of our players receive offers from bigger clubs, I'm definitely going to consider them, and wherever possible, I'll try to incorporate you guys into the decision-making process so I don't leave you in the dark. Ultimately, I don't have an exact timeline for how long this series is going to go. It really depends how long y'all are interested in this Southampton save and how much we can accomplish and how quickly we can do so. But early timeline, I would say this series is going to last about 4 to 5 seasons, which will be about a month in real time. I've thought up a new way to end these press conferences, and that is to share a fact about Southampton. Ultimately, I want this to be more than just a FIFA career mode. I want you all to learn a little bit about Southampton's history and culture as well. So without further ado, our first Southampton fact is that Mick Shannon is the club's all-time top goal scorer with 227 goals from 600 plus appearances. He was part of the Southampton squad that lifted the FA Cup in 1976, and to this day, he has a suite named after him at the St. Mary's Stadium. He was also known for his windmill running celebration, which is in FIFA 21, so we might need to apply that to one of our players in this career mode. Now that we have a few games under our belt, I feel like now might be a good time to review our tactics and maybe make a couple of changes for this second half of the season. The first change I have made is adding Salisu to the starting 11 in replace for Stevens. Salisu has gone up a few in his overall ratings, and now it's higher than Stevens, and I think it just makes more sense for him to be our starting center back considering he has more potential. But defensively, we were struggling towards the end of episode 1, so I've optioned to give us a second possibility for the formation that we use in game. By default, the game loaded us up with a 4-2-2-2 or a 4-4-2, depending on how you want to look at it. I've decided to try out this 4-2-3-1 tactic, which will give us a little bit more cover in the midfield with the 2 center defensive mids. It'll also allow Ward-Prowse to push up to a more attacking position at that right center attacking mid spot, and considering he is our second top goal scorer right now, that might fare us well. The downside to this formation is that we can only have 1 striker up top, so no Shea Adams for the starting 11. But considering that the transfer window is now open, it's time to sign some players and maybe let some players leave, as we've received an offer for Vestergaard from Montpellier. The transfer fee is not too much itself, only 940,000, but they have included a swap deal, which is a new feature in FIFA 21 career mode. They've included Damian Letelic as part of this deal. To be honest, I hadn't heard of Letelic prior to this offer, and he doesn't look like a bad player, but not someone I want to sign for this squad because he is 30 years old. So instead, we've opted for a younger French midfielder in Ibrahima Diallo. He was signed by Southampton IRL, so I thought it would be only right that we bring him in. The France Under-21 International was signed for 11 million IRL, but we brought him in for just 5 million. Unfortunately, his overall potential in FIFA career mode is a little bit low. However, with the introduction of development plans, we can hopefully get that overall and status much higher. But if worse comes to worse, great potential is by no means a bad thing, and I think Diallo will make an impact on this Southampton squad. As for the contract negotiations, it was not too bad. A sporadic squad role, 4-year deal, and only $25,000 a week. Theo Walcott was also brought in on a loan deal IRL, and I tried to replicate that in game, but unfortunately, because his contract is expiring at the end of this season, the club would not consider letting him go out on loan. Although we've cleared out most of our career mode squad to replicate the transfers that Southampton have made IRL, there are still 2 players left, Clara and O'Connor, who are on the transfer list, but no offers are coming in. So once they do receive some offers, I plan on accepting them. I've been doing some research behind the scenes on development plans, kind of finding out what's effective. So I wanted to update you how our current squad development plans look. Right now, we're still working on the box-to-box growth strategy for Ward-Prowse. That's proven to be effective as his pace has gone up considerably since the start of the career mode. Armstrong has successfully completed his center midfield training, so we will be changing him from a right mid to a center mid. There was also a comment saying that because we have so many talented right backs in this team, maybe we should consider converting one of them to a left back. I think of the 3 that we have available, Walker Peters would probably be the best option because he already has a 4-star weak foot, but because he had a very successful first episode, he had that great assist to Adams, I want to keep him as a right back, and then I think in future seasons we'll likely bring in a new left back. While I'm going to keep Diallo on the balanced development plan for now, I do plan on eventually changing that to the defensive midfield plan. Effectively, that's what he's going to be for our squad. I think the improvements to pace, defending, and physical will be perfect for his role. Gineppo hasn't quite broken into our starting 11. However, he is a very important substitute for us and someone that has a future with the Saints, so I will be changing him to the wide playmaker plan, which will improve his skill moves to hopefully 4 stars. Finally, I will be working on the central midfield plan for Smallbone, and once that's complete, he should have 4-star skill moves, and I will be converting him to a center attacking mid because, let's be honest, his stats fit that position best. This is another thing you might not see in the episodes, but behind the scenes, I am playing through every single one of the training drills so that we can achieve the A rating and get the best grade possible. I found that most of them are fairly simple except for the champion attacking scenarios. Let me know if any of you have gotten a good grade for that because I find it extremely difficult. We've already found some talented Youth Academy players, but I want to keep improving upon that, so I've signed a 5-star scout, and that will make it so that we have 2 scouting networks available. Our existing scout will be sent to the United States looking for a physically strong player, and then our new 5-star scout will be staying in England to look for a goalkeeper. That's about it for the squad updates. Let's get into some matches, finish the second half of the season strong, and hopefully push for at least a mid-table finish. We'll kick off our first of 4 gameplay matches against Arsenal, who have made some improvements in this first season, signing Tarkowski to bolster their defense. But it's an unlikely player to feature in our first match highlight as Romeu goes on an attacking run, and what a finish from our center defensive midfielder on his weaker left foot. He's going to bury that chance and give us the 1-0 lead early on. Extremely well taken from a center defensive mid, and that might be the only goal he scores in this career mode. Arsenal were quick to string together a few passes in succession as Willian will play this through to Aubameyang, and of course he won't be missing from that sort of range. The Arsenal attack looking dangerous again here in the 42nd minute as Martinelli pulls off some good skill moves, but will defend this fairly well as Bednarak with the takeaway, and we'll get on a counterattacking chance of our own as Nandez plays this forward to Ings, who prefers to lay off the pass to Armstrong, optioning to instead make the run through. And that's where Danny Ings excels. This chance won't be going in, but that's a good example of how Ings likes to play in this Southampton side, both I think IRL and in this career mode. Ward-Prowse with a good opportunity, but the rebound does fall to Armstrong, and he will bury that chance to make things 2-1 for us. And this 4-2-3-1 formation that we decided to use in this match was working quite well. After a round of substitutions, we'll look to seal this victory as Adams successfully turns the defenders. He's 1-on-1 with Leno, but unfortunately his chance does go off of the post. A big opportunity missed. And on the opposite end, it's kind of the opposite of our first goal that we conceded as Aubameyang played this pass to Willian, not the other way around, and he'll make things level. There's still a little bit of time for us to potentially get a late winner and walk out of the Emirates with all 3 points. A great cross from Ward-Prowse. Had that been one of our strikers, I think we would have been able to get it on target. Unfortunately, Redmond was unable to do so, and this match will end as a draw. Still, all things considered, we're using a new formation for this match, and I'll take a single point. Although we've already been eliminated from the Carabao Cup, we still have the FA Cup to play for, and I would argue between those two competitions, the FA Cup holds more importance. Luckily, our simulations in the FA Cup went fairly well for us as we beat Blackpool 2-0 in the third round, and then kind of a closer affair with Stoke City, but we eventually won that in the replay. That pitted us against Manchester United in the round of 16. We'll have met the board objective regardless, but why not continue to push on and try to get a victory? Both us and Manchester United will be featuring a rotated side. As far as I'm aware, this will be Diallo's first start for Southampton, as well as a number of youth academy prospects, including our homegrown player Newton and graduates of the Southampton Youth Academy. While I was optimistic about using a new and rotated side for this fixture, it unfortunately did not fare well for us, as Dan James will get the opening goal of the match, chipping Forster. That's an extremely well taken opportunity from the young Manchester United player, and he has a lot of confidence to try to pull that off. We did have this chance from a corner kick though, and I think set pieces were probably our best chance at getting back into this match, as Newton will loft across to the far post, Vestergaard making contact but saved by Romero. I think Manchester United quickly caught on to the lack of pace in our defense. I didn't really translate over to our new center back pairing super well. In order to play the way that I like to defensively, you need quick center backs. Vestergaard obviously does not have a lot of pace, so unfortunately he may not be in my future plans, although he is a quality center back technically. He doesn't have a lot of great physical attributes, but we're 2-0 down at this point. It was, I believe, McTominay who scored the second shift for Manchester United. A good chance for us to maybe get one back, but it just wasn't working out, as now it's going to be Rashford in the 69th minute, playing through to Immobile. He's going to play this to a couple of other Manchester United players. They're just having fun out there. Dan James with the eventual effort, trying to get a brace, but denied by Forster. You can see in the top left that both sides made a few substitutions. We brought on a few of our usual starting 11 players like Ward-Prowse. Manchester United doing the same, adding Martial into the mix. And speaking of Martial, he will get United's third goal off a pretty simple effort, but he positioned himself perfectly to make that easy for him. This was my first time playing United in career mode, and I've got to say they were probably the toughest opponent that I've faced. Bruno Fernandes was just so hard to get the ball taken away from, and Martial was absolutely clinical, nearly getting a hat trick despite only playing about 15 minutes in this match. Forster denying him right there, and then another chance by Fernandes, laying this one off eventually to Matic, but Forster made a few good saves. He made the scoreline better than it might have been, even though 4-0 is still not a great result. But with just 4 matches left to play in our first season's Premier League campaign, we have a huge fixture against Everton, and this is going to play a big role in deciding who finishes in the upper half of the table and who finishes in the bottom half. In terms of our ramifications for next season, it probably won't make a difference, but for our confidence, it would certainly help if we could finish in the top half of the table. Everton, of course, made some big signings this summer, particularly to their midfield, signing the likes of James, Doucouré, and Alan, making this a very fun fixture to play against. I think it's going to be one that you all will enjoy watching just because of entertainment value and the number of chances that we actually ended up getting on Everton. However, considering the number of chances that we had, the Everton defense was very stubborn, either making key saves or key defensive stops at huge moments. Ultimately, that led to a 0-0 result already 26 minutes into the match, as for some reason Armstrong went with the ball roll. I think I tried doing something that was effective last year in FIFA 20, but I haven't exactly gotten the timing down to a T in FIFA 21. But of course, that will come in time as Armstrong tries to redeem himself. This time he's going to lay it off to Ings, and on the volley, he'll be scoring that chance. In terms of technical ability, that was a well-taken effort by Ings, but what I liked about that goal was the run by Armstrong, basically ensuring that the defenders had to close him down, generating the space for Ings. As we jump forward to the second half, we'll see Ward-Prowse get involved, and I really like his positioning as a center attacking mid. It's something I need to consider as we move into season 2. I'm still not set on the 4-2-3-1 formation, but I think clearly Ward-Prowse is excelling as a center attacking mid. Regardless, it was a perfectly placed pass and an easy finish for Armstrong. Walcott will again get involved in the 55th minute, but denied by McCarthy on his near post. It was almost as if the game knew we tried to sign him on loan and purposely got him involved in this match. You might notice Diallo on the ball here. That's because we made a few substitutions as we try to see out this match at home. Bertrand making a great run from the left-hand side, eventually scoring it to Newton, who still has yet to score a goal for us, and it won't happen here. But now Diallo again, showing some of that dribbling ability, playing it to Ward-Prowse, saved well by Pickford, and for some reason the follow-up didn't end up getting on target from Ings. I thought that was a pretty clear chance. Keane will get one back for Everton here. Eventually, McCarthy had to concede a goal, and they made things interesting toward the end of this match. Tense moments here as we enter the 90th minute, and when you're defending the AI on competitor mode, you're trying your best not to concede a penalty because that's the last thing you want, basically gifting a free goal. But I feel like we handled the situation pretty well. Diallo just trying to get it away, only as far as Alan and Walcott as he pushes the ball forward, eventually playing it to Sims, laying off the pass to James, but it goes over the crossbar. And despite not making the most of our chances, we'll still secure the 3 points. As we approach the end of the season, we were met with a very unsettling email. The Ward-Prowse release clause was met by Atletico Madrid. Luckily, whenever you receive this email, you still have a little bit of time to enter contract negotiations with the player. And I feel like a new feature was added in Career Mode this year where you don't necessarily need to offer a contract extension. Rather, we're just increasing Ward-Prowse's wage from 50 grand a week to 60 grand a week. There's no way I'm going to let Ward-Prowse leave Southampton in this first season. He just signed a new deal with them, and it wouldn't be realistic for him to leave. But with that business settled, we will play our final Premier League match of the season. Currently, we sit 11th with 46 points, as do Everton in 10th. We don't have the advantage in terms of goal differential, so we basically need to rely on us getting a win and for Everton to get a draw or a loss. Burnley will be our opponent for this match. They sit below us in the table. However, they do feature a former Southampton player and one of my favorites, J. Rodriguez, or as I like to call him, J-Rod. I'm not going to spoil the result of this match, but I will say that even though FIFA 21 hasn't officially been released, there were more goals scored in this fixture than I had in any other match in FIFA 20. A ridiculous amount of goals scored. You saw from the first highlight that Adams failed to put us ahead by optioning for a chip, but he'll make up for it by setting up Ings for our first goal of the match just to 12 minutes in. Ings has consistently shown that his attacking positioning is among the best in the league, but this is a really strange sequence of play as McCarthy makes a good initial save, but Chris Wood ended up out jumping Bednarek, and Burnley will equalize. Defensively, I feel like Bednarek has been very solid this season, but this is one of the few times that he let me down. Luckily though, there were plenty more opportunities for us to score goals. As some quick passing play will set up Ings again. He will be bearing that chance, making it 2-1 for us and sliding towards victory. And now it's Walker Peters playing it through to Gineppo, who I decided to give him a start because I see him being our starting right mid in the next season. His overall has gone up considerably, especially after we decided to switch up his development plan, and he set up Adams perfectly here. We were not done there though, as Nandez will play this through to Ward-Prowse, and you saw Ings basically went offside, decided to come back onside, receive the ball, and he's going to finish that opportunity, making it 4-1 for us. And this was probably my favorite replay animation, as that one's super satisfying. If 5 goals in the first half wasn't enough for you, Burnley will get involved again as it's a J-Rod near post goal. But I want you all to watch this replay, especially our number 35. That's Bednarek, and it's going to be another defensive mistake from him as he's caught ball watching and not tracking the run. Honestly, watching back this footage, I forgot that this goal even happened in the first half. I completely expected 6 goals to be the last of it, but no. This is probably the best goal that we scored in the first half and in this entire match, as Shea Adams successfully pulls off the ball roll and gets the timing down right. Luckily, for the sake of me not having to edit a ton of footage, the second half was not quite as exciting, as we just saw the one goal, this one being from Ward-Prowse, a well-taken effort and just about as simple as you like, really fitting the box-to-box role that he's playing for us this season. But it's going to be another match ball for Danny Ings as he nets his second hat-trick of the season to end off our Premier League campaign on high. Unfortunately, we will not be making an appearance in the top half of the Premier League table. However, Manchester City did end up winning the Premier League title this season with 92 points, but transitioning to the bottom half, we're the first team to show up. Not a bad performance, and I think it is on par with our mid-table objective that we had at the start of the season. West Brom, Sheffield United, and Leeds United were by and far deserving of the relegation zone, as really no other teams were around them. But no surprise here, as Danny Ings was our top scorer for Season 1, 21 goals from 51 matches. Not a bad outing from him. James Ward-Prowse in second with 11 goals from 48, and Nathan Redmond in third with 8 goals from 46. A bit of a coincidence here for the assist category, as we had 3 players joint top with 7 assists apiece. However, I've ranked them by whoever featured in the fewest matches received the higher ranking. So Armstrong was first, Redmond finished in second, and Ward-Prowse in third. We had a pretty decent outing for our cup competitions this year. Although we were eliminated in the 5th round, we'll check out to see who won the FA Cup, and it was Manchester City who beat Leicester in the final. Speaking of Manchester City, they did eliminate us from the Carabao Cup in the quarterfinals, and they also won that competition. Although we weren't involved in continental competitions this year, I think it's still good to keep tabs on who the top clubs in the world are. Some of you may also be interested to know which of the championship sides will be playing in the Premier League next season. Watford and Nottingham Forest are guaranteed. However, I don't know between Bournemouth, Huddersfield, Cardiff City, and Blackburn which of them won the playoffs, so we'll have to see in the next episode who the third and final team is. We already know who our club top scorers and assists were, but let's see how we compare to some of the other talents in the Premier League. Just one appearance for us in the top 15 for top scorers. Ings in 6th with 19 goals from 38 Premier League matches. De Bruyne was first with 24 goals. Moving to the assist category, it looks like we just have one player here with Redmond in 13th with 6 assists from 36. Mane was first with 12 assists from 38. And not bad at all from McCarthy, as he finished in 11th for top clean sheets. 7 clean sheets from 37 matches. De Gea was the top goalkeeper in the league this year. We had a couple of Youth Academy players requesting to be promoted to the first team. We will, of course, oblige with those requests so we don't miss out on any future talent. Benjamin Chapman being our first promotion, a 60 overall center mid from England. He's 18 years old and has a potential of 84 to 94. Thomas Parkin is our next promotion. Another player from England, has an overall of 61 and looks like he can play both right wing and right mid. Has a really nice potential of 90 to 94. We've also scouted a promising goalkeeper from England. Has a great name, by the way. Freddie Franklin, a 17-year-old goalkeeper with a potential of 75 to 94. In past FIFAs, you used to be able to sort which players saw the most overall growth over the course of the season. I think that feature has been removed. So what I'm going to do to bypass that is just quickly scroll through each of the players in our squad. You can still see the overall change there, kind of in the top right. And yeah, I think that's going to be the best solution. Hopefully it is added back, because I really thought it was a valuable feature to see which players are developing in your team, which ones aren't at a really quick rate. And yeah, it's kind of crucial to career mode, so I don't think it is too hard of a feature to introduce, but in the meantime, I think this will do. Generally speaking, we've seen a lot of growth in our squad. We don't have a lot of older players that saw a decline, really just the last couple, Shane Long being the most. But I think that's going to wrap things up for episode 2 and this first season with Southampton. It has been a blast to record this career mode, and I cannot wait to continue with future seasons. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. But until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to y'all again soon.